All praises and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bashem Ha, Rakak Quadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which taught us the truth, and Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom. All right, this is Isaiah 14, verse 3. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city cease? The king of Babylon is Biden today. The golden city is America. And it says, How had the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? When you go into this word here, it's Shabbat. Shabbat. All right? Pretty much a Sabbath. See? It says to rest, to cease, to rest, decease from labor. Okay? And this is going to eventually be forever when Yahweh comes and the nuclear destruction of America takes place at his coming. It says, I'm sorry, in Isaiah 14, Salakia, that was a slip of the tongue. Verse 9, how from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. Speaking of when Yahweh comes, all right, he's going to hit America with chariot fire. UFO, so-called UFOs are the chariots of heaven. And they show you in the movie Independence Day, when that laser beam comes out of the mouth of the chariot, it destroys the elements. All right? While as the same with the nuclear missiles, all right, they're going to come at the coming of Yahushai and eat the America's flesh. How from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief even all the chief ones of the earth, which the chief ones, the other nations, are going to shoot missiles at America. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All right. Let's go to Revelation 18. It says in verse 1, and after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, is fallen. And when it falls, it's going to be destroyed by those nuclear missiles at the coming of Yahushua. And it is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So when the fires are eventually calmed down, it's going to be on fire for a while, but when it eventually, cools down, the desert birds are going to live in America. It says in verse 17, not 17, verse 20, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushai, hath avenged you on her. And how is he going to avenge us? Excuse me. By destroying it through nuclear fire. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. It says, And the voice of harpers, and the musicians, and the pipers, and of pipers, and trumpeters, shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. So there ain't going to be nothing done in America. It's going to be a desert. All right? Let's go to 2 Peter chapter 3. Verse 10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, which is that destruction, and the elements shall melt with a fervent heat, and the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Just like we got in Isaiah 14. It'll be a Sabbath. Literally, it'll be a Sabbath. It'll be a holy day. And he gives us rest from our sorrows. It says, and it shall come to pass in the day that excuse me. And it shall come to pass in the day that Yahweh shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. I need 14:4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, which is this active prophecy. The king of Babylon, once again, is Biden, and say, how had the oppressor America ceased? The golden city ceased. All right? Once again, that word is Shabbat. Shabbat. Okay? And how is there going to be a Sabbath? It's going to be destroyed. America is going to be destroyed, and there will be no work done in this land. All right? And then there will be rest, because there is no rest for us here. Remember, we're still in slavery. Now, this is also happening in the same spirit. Isaiah 19 verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. Which that spirit of Egypt, okay, is pretty much hardship, labor. See, double straights, which we were slaves in Egypt. All right? See, it says absolute formed by analogy. Which an analogy is a comparison between two things, typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification. So Egypt is being used here as an analogy, speaking of this hard labor that we're in, this burden that we're in under America of being slaves. Right? Once again, let's go to Deuteronomy 28:68. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again, which when we went into Egypt the first time, all right, Joseph was brought into Egypt as a slave, which his brothers sold him into slavery. But then there was a famine in the land of Canaan, so they walked down into Egypt to buy bread. All right, and then when they found out that Joseph was second in command under Pharaoh, Pharaoh sent, his wealth to carry our father Jacob, which his name was changed to Israel, into the land of Egypt, which we were in the land of Goshen. But then after the pharaohs didn't know who we were after Joseph died, and they didn't remember Joseph no more, they put us in slavery because they were afraid of our size. So this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. This is talking about modern day Egypt, America. Okay? which this is an analogy on the backside of a dollar bill. You got the Egyptian pyramid, it says one, and then you got the Great Seal of America, all right, which America and Egypt are in the same spirit, which we're here in this slavery building up their cities, just like in Egypt, okay? And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, which northern kingdom and southern kingdom came to America on ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, which were not in our land no more. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, no man shall save you out of this. All right? And you're still in slavery. You're called an employee. An employer is a slave master, and an employee is a slave. That's why when you got an issue with your employment, you got to go to human resource. All right? And something caught my eye recently about a lot of people's employment, all right, in Babylon is being shut down. It says McDonald's, others consider closing indoor seating, which this caught my eye last night when I was heading home. I stopped in the town of Fort Lupton, and the whole town was blacked out because right when you come into Fort Lupton, it's pretty much all the restaurants. You got McDonald's, you got Taco Bell, you got Dairy Queen, you got Arby's. The only thing that was open was the gas station. And I asked the lady, I said, wasn't the McDonald's the 24 hours? And she said, yes, but after the pandemic came in, they shut the doors early now, which that is also part of Isaiah 14 taking place. All right? Once again, there's nobody working like they were before. All right? Which it's all praise and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Once again, how had the oppressor Shabbat, right, to cease, to rest, right, cause to fail. See? Restaurants closed dining rooms, which most restaurants here in Colorado are, you can only pick up. You know, you got certain ones like downtown, you may be able to sit inside, but a lot of restaurants, you got to only pick up your food and leave. There's no more dining in, and they're closing early. The McDonald's has temporarily closed 50 restaurants, and that's March 20th, 2020. All right. Look, 2021, McDonald's again eyeing closure of indoor seating, which most McDonald's here in Colorado, you can't sit in. It's only, pick up and go, like Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is also no dining in. You might find a couple in the like downtown area, but majority of them on the outsides of downtown, you can only use the drive-through, or if you go inside, you can only pick up your food and leave. But once again, they're closing early, like McDonald's. Like McDonald's was a 24 hours business, all right, which they're not no more. They closed. When I was passing through Fort Morgan, they closed at, it was usually about 10 to 11. They're closed, and where they're at, that's a busy spot. The Walmart that's in that town, Fort Lupton, is one of the most busiest Walmarts in Colorado because you got the truckers going, traveling on I-76 all day and night, which that's starting to slow down. See? So America is beginning to cease, all right? But eventually it's going to completely end. There will be no America when Yahweh Shai returns, and America is removed from the face of the earth by nuclear fire, by chariot fire. All praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaRakakudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which taught us the truth of Shalom. To the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, may you endure to the end. Shalom.